Greetings, hello, welcome everyone, welcome to DevChatter. My name is Brendan, and this here is DevChatter. So welcome. I'm gonna go ahead and figure out what that is in a moment. I have no idea. I'm gonna look at that. But regardless, we are gonna write a little bit of code here on this nice Saturday afternoon. At least it's Saturday afternoon for me. If it's morning still for you or evening, either way, hopefully whatever part of the day it is good where you are. Yeah, Coated Beard. I didn't actually look to see this. I just hit the start button and it hit an exception, so we'll see what it is. We were messing with a little bit of XAML last week. Very likely we just left something that's not quite wired up right. It's one of the challenges. You don't catch XAML errors at compile time. You can only catch them at runtime. So you either have to set up an integration test that's going to run them, or you can do this. Nate, hey, welcome. 14-month Twitch Prime resub. That is awesome. So you are, of course, sporting the nice Grenadon there for everyone. And so is Coated Beard, actually. So welcome, Coated Beard. Welcome, Nate. Greetings. We'll take a look at whatever that exception is in a moment. I'm not going to bother figuring that one out just yet. So, quick intro about what we are doing here on the stream. So, we like to do live coding with really anything. So sometimes we do web development, sometimes we do client development. We've written our own casual games here of a handful of different types. Right now, the application we are working on is a program we call Interactive 7. We call it that because it is chat interactivity, so Twitch chat. So that little chat box over there, if anyone says anything, will show up there, and through that, they can actually control this game, assuming that I don't get a XAML error when I go to start the program. Once I fix that, we'll show how the program works, what it does, and everything like that. If you are new here, welcome. Feel free to ask questions. Get comfortable. We're going to be here for a couple of hours probably writing code, as that's usually what we like to do on streams. If you're interested in chatting with us outside the stream, we have a Discord that you are welcome to join. Hey, Root Guy, welcome. Yes, if people want to use Emacs or VI, or if you want to use VS Code, you want to use Rider, you want to use Visual Studio, I mean, heck, you could use Notepad if you want. I mean, you're welcome to use any IDE you want. That is one of the nice things about well, really programming in general, is at the end of the day, it's just code. So, you know, do what you want to do, use the languages you like, use the frameworks you like. There's a lot of good stuff out there. So, a couple of things. We also put pretty much all of our code is out on GitHub at github.com/devchatter. So if you want to take a look at anything that we're ever working on, feel free to head out there, have a look, and you can see how we built things. So even though on the stream I can obviously only show like one screen at a time, you could go over there to look at other files in our projects. Other things to mention. If you have missed a bunch of our episodes, or you want to see how we got to the point that we are, I'm going to show you the program in a minute. If you want to see how we got to this point on Interactive 7, you can actually check out our YouTube archives, and it has a lot of the development is in there. I have done some of the development for Interactive 7 outside of the stream, but you can pretty much see all the code that we did. If you follow along on that video series, there's a playlist for any given project that we work on, so it's actually pretty easy to find the stuff that you're looking for if you go to our YouTube channel. And lastly, I'll toss a link to Twitters and stuff. Alright, so, obviously, we are a whole community of people. We want to see some code. Let's dive in. We'll figure out what this exception is that apparently I have on line 13, position 28. So, text box line chatbot is connected. Wait, what? View details. What is this? What is this exception? What is this? Could not load type, what? Highwind DPI info, I think is what that's saying. don't technically need that. Let me just see if it really has anything to do with that, or if it's just giving us an error on the wrong line. So one thing you need to figure out when you're debugging, if you are new to this, sometimes the error you're getting isn't actually the error. Hey Katrina, welcome, greetings. But let's find out, does it have something to do with that? See, now it's just on line 15. Yeah, so could not load this. So this seems like some kind of a like a WPF error or something like that. Greetings, Steve. No scope, nice. Let's take a look. Can I load it? Yeah. You know what? Let's just try a quick rebuild real fast, just to see if that gets whatever's going on here. There's something weird. If the error you're getting is not the error, please consider a new tech stack. Yeah, thanks, Wheatlaw. That's not the case. Yes, I think it's it's something like that. Which is why I'm trying to rebuild, because that almost seems like it's not getting WPF or something, which is strange. Yeah, exactly. That's what I think it is, await task. Now that we've seen the error, because I was like... I looked at it, I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on? I don't know. This is looking better. It's getting further. No, still getting that. Okay. Well, we'll try an actual clean then and see what that gets us. Even though, if you asked Microsoft in the past, they'd be like, a rebuild is just a clean and then a build. And then you'd be like, yeah, but sometimes when I clean multiple times, a rebuild suddenly works. Rebuild all succeeded. Try it one more time. Come on. You can do it, Visual Studio. You can load this. I believe in you. You can do it. You've got this. If you can't, then I'll restart you. Yeah. I guess I'm restarting Visual Studio, because that's the next step. And then if this doesn't work, then what I'm going... Yeah, exactly, Wheatlaw. I am trying turning it off and back on again. But then what I'm going to do after this one, if this doesn't work, then we have one additional step that we're going to try, and that is to update our libraries if we can. Because there might be something with that. Because remember, we're using .NET Core 3, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did something weird with it. So this is all the new bits and everything. So we'll see. I could try to run it in Rider, which is really funny, Wheatlaw, that you bring that one up, because there was actually a time when we updated Visual Studio and our project stopped building, and I switched over to Rider, and Rider built it and ran it just fine, but Visual Studio did not. And I was just kind of sitting there, I'm like, thanks, guys. Way to break the IDE. Yeah, thanks. I know. Thank you. Thank you, Visual Studio, for yelling at ReSharper. I love it when my tools fight. Nope. Still gonna yell at me about that. Okay. Well then, let's go with this. Alright, well, I guess we get to start with a bunch of debugging. Yeah, exactly. So this is the problem with being on the bleeding edge, as Katrina's pointing out. So this is part of the bleeding edge. Alright, we have updates of a handful of things, but none of these are actually the ones that I was hoping for. Are we running pre-release stuff for anything? No, nothing that should be getting this. Yeah, none of those are pre-release stuff that should make this suddenly work. Alright, well, I'm going to do this then. I am going to open this file in File Explorer and just see if it runs. Can I just run this program outside of Visual Studio and have it work? The answer to that question is yes. It does just run. This is it. So, oh, no, this is an old version. What did it clean then? What did it do when I said clean if this is the old copy? Yeah, I think it is. Hang on. Yeah, it's the old version. So I guess I'm gonna kill that. Yeah, exactly. Clean did nothing apparently. Which maybe that's what's causing the whole problem. I'm just gonna watch in this folder and see if clean actually gets rid of anything. Okay, clean actually seemed to work this time. Funny enough. So maybe it was like, oh, I already built this, so I don't know. I'm watching the folder right now. Recreates that. Ah, there is an exe with an updated value. Okay. And now when I try to debug, do you work? Yeah. Okay. I have no idea. Apparently, running the program that was the old one fixed the ability for it to build and run the new one. I have no idea. Okay. Old assembly, yeah. Alright, so let's bring this back into the chat. Let's have a look at what this does. So if there is anybody that's new here, there might be. We'll give you a quick preview of what this program actually does. And the short answer is this. So it does fun stuff like this. We can change the menu colors inside of the game by just using menu commands. You can see that I'm sending those menu commands into chat. The bot is picking those up and updating the screen accordingly. So we can, put in whatever we want and we get, the result back. So that's actually not restricted just to me. Anyone can use those chat commands to make that stuff happen as long as the programs are running. So that is what we are building. Today I don't want to focus on menu colors. We've all seen menu colors if you've been on the stream before. We've been doing that for a while. But I am glad that the program is running. What I wanted to look at today is something a little bit different. So I have this pointed at, well, let me explain. This program that is above my head is called Cheat Engine. I guess the reason for it to exist is so that people can cheat in video games. But from a programmer's perspective, this is a really useful tool. So Cheat Engine is designed to scan and find things in memory and modify those values live. So it's kind of like a utility version of what we built in our program. So this lets you scan, find, and really track down values. So this is actually what I use to find a lot of the memory locations that we use to alter our Final Fantasy VII game. Hang on, Wheatlaw, does it do anything other than changing the menu colors and statuses and names of the characters? Wheatlaw, there are a couple of other things that the program does right now. For our overlay, we display images of the characters, for example, and that is actually pulled out of the game assets itself. So there is a program that we are leveraging that Mr. Shoji wrote. So Mr. Shoji is the one that did our overlay piece that we are using. He made the Seng overlay that we included in this program. And because I was kind of like, I don't want to include these assets, we need to pull these from the files. Hilariously, he just went and he was like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll pull them out of the files. So we actually pull characters' information out of there. We're going to start doing that for basically all the assets that we do in the game. So all of our memory values that we use, so the memory locations will stay the same, but the values for what we can put in there are going to start coming from the game itself. So we are really tying into the game in that we will pull all of its information and then use that to allow chat to interact. What that ends up meaning is that if anyone has modified their copy of Final Fantasy VII, say with updated images for the characters, because again, this is a game from the 90s, you might want to have better graphics than this, so you can bring in better pictures than this. Some mods actually add additional items, equipment, add additional magic and that sort of thing. They add more spells. If you are running that kind of stuff in your program, we want to be able to take advantage of that and provide that to you. So those are some of the things that that we are doing in addition to that. There are other bidding scenarios that we are preparing for but have not done yet. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see how we track this down. So this is actually just a useful tool for finding stuff inside of programs that you want to mess with. So I have already connected this, so we are connected to the Final Fantasy VII process, and that is right here. And if we look for things, so I will show you basically how it works. What's a good one to test with? What would be a good value to check? I can't easily change a lot of those. You know what? I'm just going to go get in a combat really fast and kill all the characters. That sounds like a good approach, because once the characters are all dead, then we can make a couple of other things work. So let me enable status effects, and we'll allow confusion, and we will allow... I think I said paralyze, not petrify. I really should have done petrify. What was I thinking? Paralyze. Okay. So I've turned on a couple of these. Wait, that said paralyze, not paralyzed plural. Paralyze. Para. Okay. So that should make it so that in combat, I can paralyze the characters and get a game over. Now, if you're wondering why I need a game over, it's because by default, Final Fantasy VII does not have a way to load my save. So I actually have to get a game over in order to do that, or restart the game. And since I don't feel like restarting the game and having to reconnect everything, we're just going to go in here, and I am going to go ahead and hit... First off, let's just see if we can put all the characters to sleep. So I can. All the characters are asleep. And now that should paralyze them once this animation stops. Did paralyze not end the combat? I thought paralyze would end the combat. Maybe I was wrong. I might have been wrong. I thought I paralyzed them. But maybe paralyze doesn't end the combat? I thought it did. Maybe I'm crazy? Well, we'll make it petrify instead. Okay. Now, for the way that I do that, you're all going to laugh, because in order to make it easy to send commands while I'm playing the game, I actually made... here, I'll show you. I added to my Stream Deck little commands. So there's petrify top, there's petrify mid, and the reason I had to put these on my Stream Deck is because Final Fantasy VII, while you're playing it, does not allow you to leave the screen you're on. So in order for me to type stuff into chat, I need to be able to send it into chat without leaving the game screen, because you'll notice the game screen is actually paused behind me, and that would make it really difficult, because the way that we change the status effect, we actually have to basically attempt to change it. We have to tell the game, like, hey, I'm trying to change this, I'm trying to change this, I'm trying to change it, and the game actually watches that value and will update their status accordingly, as we can't actually just change it, because too many things happen when a status effect goes on. Luckily, there is a way to trigger one, so that's actually what we're doing. Okay, so let's try that. There we go. As soon as that animation stops, it'll get Barrett. There we go. Game over. That's what we wanted. So everyone's petrified. We get a game over screen. Perfect. Okay. So now that we've gamed over, we can go in here and I can load up a different save file. So we're going to hop over here. This one should help us track down some information. So if we take a look in Cheat Engine, we can see that these total hit points, so these hit point values right here. Now here's a trick. Those hit point values are not what you think. So when you look at HP, you see 330 for Cloud and 301 out of 353 for Barrett. But those are not their hit point values. Those are calculated. Because they're calculated, we will not find them in the system. So what we have to do is something I can't do for Cloud because we're too early in the game. I just realized. So we'll look at Barrett's numbers, because Barrett's numbers are correct. So we'll look for 301, and I can't imagine their hit points are more than 2 bytes. I doubt their hit points are more than 2 bytes. So we're just going to search an exact value of 301 and looking at 2 bytes. And now I can just click next. I can let the game run a little bit. I can, you know, close and open the menu. I can do some stuff. And when I rerun this, I hopefully reduce the number. No, there's still 305 references to that value. So what I'm going to do is give him a potion. And when I do that, now his hit point total is 353. So one of these should have updated to 353. Okay, so there we go. These values must represent his current hit point total. So I can actually add this to essentially my watch list down here. And I will keep these permanently now as I move around. So those are his hit point total. Let's go get in a quick combat, and we'll make sure that he gets hurt. And then we should, after the combat, see those values update. I don't think they'll update during combat, but I think after combat we'll see it. So let's take a look. In fact, I'm going to have our characters attack him, because why not? So Barrett's going to hit himself, just to make sure... Oh, okay, well, an enemy did hit him. I just wanted to make sure that we absolutely got him hurt. So, did these numbers update? 282, yes. So this number is updating as he... so, updating during combat. Hey, S&B, welcome. Thank you for the 13 months of Twitch Prime. That is awesome. Hopefully you've been enjoying your Grenadon for the past month. And welcome. Welcome to the stream. Yep, 267, yeah. So those numbers are updating exactly as we expect. I'm glad you like the Grenadon, S&B. The thing that's got me right now, so for anyone that doesn't know, these are the only 2 emotes that are currently available in our chat. The only, like, DevChatter ones. And the problem is, we've been sitting for like a week trying to get Twitch to approve our emotes, which is kind of annoying because some of them have been our emotes before. Sharkdeed. I'm technically trying to teach people how memory works, but obviously since this is a program that allows cheating, people can. I never care if people want to cheat in single-player games. It doesn't matter to me. If you want to cheat in a single-player game, sure, whatever. If that's how you enjoy the game, that's fine. Like, why does that matter to me? Okay, so clearly Barrett got hurt during combat, and we showed that number changing. Now this one updated after. So this one updated after combat. So those are 2 values that it's actually tracking separately while it does that. They both match his hit points at all times, but they're changing at different points. So that is interesting information that we can gain from looking at that and getting a better understanding of how it works. If I were to look for clouds, I can actually tell you that we wouldn't find it, but that actually has to do with a game mechanic that's hiding his real values. And the reason for that is right here, where my cursor is pointing up here in the game cursor, there is a missing menu item that doesn't get unlocked until a certain point in the game after they do a tutorial for you. So once that unlocks, I can unequip something from Cloud that is affecting his values. So that's why I could only do that test on Barrett. Okay, so clearly we can change these values, we can see the stuff, so this is how the program works. Obviously we can see them changing up there. If we want to find something else, we can do that as well. So 737, for example. 737, that's funny. That's a plane. So 737 is our amount of gil that we have right now, and that value also could be updated and found. But I actually already found that address. We don't need to look for that one. That is going to be right here. The gil memory location is right there, and apparently that's 4 bytes worth of gil. So let's do a new scan. We'll do a 4-byte scan. Yeah, not 8 bytes, 4 bytes. Yep, wait. Actually, I don't even need to do that. What am I doing? Add address manually. There's the address. 4 bytes. And that is just the gil number. So you can see it's 737, and I can actually just go in here and just, you know, whoops, not put a... I can just put in a huge number, and boom, I've got tons of gil. Look at that. Wow. Linkable. I have been writing software for a little over 20 years. So I have been a professional software developer for I don't know how long, but it's somewhere between, like, I don't know, 10 and 20, I don't know. Significant number of years, I don't even really think about it, because, oh, let's see, it's probably at least 15 years I've been a professional developer, like, getting paid to build software for people. So, yep, quite a while. It's S&B, it's interesting stuff. This, Oh, someone's doing an NES emulator stuff. That is really awesome, S&B. That's really cool. I'm glad someone is building the same kind of interactivity into a system. Is the plan with the NES emulator to give like chat, like up, down, left, right, A, B, you know, controls? If so, that is a fantastic way to do it. Building it directly into the emulator instead of specifically towards a game. I think that'd be really cool. I would love to actually work on that kind of thing. Sadly, with PlayStation Era, that doesn't work as well because the types of inputs and... oh, he's not doing chat enabled. Well, that's a bummer, but still cool. Okay, so obviously we can just change any value that we can find. So that's the neat thing, is you can actually just modify memory live while it's running. Cool stuff. This is a useful program. That's actually the same kind of thing that we are doing. Is the ability to do that. What are the main challenges facing software development? Not the code itself, but business. It mostly comes down to communication, Linkable. It's making sure that you build the right thing more than anything else. So it's really easy to build stuff, but building the thing that someone actually needs is much harder. A lot of the difficulties of software development come down to more soft skills stuff, working with other people, and making sure that you're solving the right problems. So a lot of it's communication, problem solving, coming up with creative ways to do things. Now, remember, the creative or the clever are not always good, because a lot of it is also communication with future developers through writing code that is clear. That future developer is sometimes you, a month from now, when you need to come back, read the same code, and add in new features to it. So, and yes, yep, exactly. So there's all kinds of interesting things that you'll need to learn about if you're just getting into software development. Most of it's not coding challenges. So learn how to work with people and communicate. It will take you a long way in software development. Obviously, you need to learn you need to be able to code well. And you need to be able to write code that's maintainable and readable from others. And yes, as S&B says, one of the best ways is to learn from other people. There is so much information. I really recommend pair programming as a great way to learn about the development stuff and get on good teams. So find teams that are willing to help you learn and will enable you to write good code. Like, seriously, one of the best ways to become a good programmer, work with other good people. You do not want to be the smartest person in the room every time. Now, sometimes you end up with like multiple people in the same room that are on the same team that are probably equally good overall, but at different things, and so they can then learn from each other. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff. Go to user groups. There's a lot of people out there to learn from. It's and I will also mention that the development community, depending on exactly where you are, can be very welcoming and friendly. So there are a decent number of dev communities that I think you can get involved in, even as a student. I don't know what your situation is. It sounds like you're probably a junior dev or someone interested in getting into programming. So, okay. Do I work with the team? I mean, I work with multiple teams. So I am a consultant, and sometimes I work on projects just doing development with them. Other times I come in as a mentor, and I am there either mentoring all the developers on the team in practices, coding style, things like that, TDD. Sometimes I'm teaching them about different software architectures that they need to be using, or different technologies. I will also go into some teams and I will work with the team leads at organizations and help them to run their teams better and better work with their developers. It depends on what the organization needs, but I like helping other people to write software better. That's one of my favorite things to do. So when I can, even when I'm like just writing code is my main thing on a project, I also like to make sure that I'm working with the team to help bring everyone up, because the more people I can bring up, the better. Wild Genie, welcome. Thank you for that raid. Welcome, everyone. I will give you some time in case it made you go through an ad there. I don't know if it did. Welcome, Workforce. Thank you for that follow. Greetings, Wild Genie. Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Please get situated. Hey, Horkrine. No problem, Linkable. This is DevChatter, not Dev sit here and watch as I code. Well, I am going to be coding. We really are all about discussion here, talking about ideas, some of them big, some of them small. So feel free to shout out questions. Good to see you too, Horkrine, and that's a couple of times in recent succession that you've made it to the stream, so welcome. Let's see. Obviously, I said thank you for the follow, Workforce, and Canavar. Welcome. Thank you for that follow as well. Hello, everyone that came in from the raid. Hopefully you were doing something fun. I don't know if Wild Genie's in here, but if you are, feel free to let us know what you were just doing. Because obviously I wasn't in the stream, I was here. So greetings, hello everyone, welcome. Okay, so we were taking a look at how we can mess with some values. So here's what I wanted to do. We've been having a little bit of trouble with our status effects. We noticed in a recent stream that they didn't work as we expected. So for anyone that's coming in, we are building a program. It's written in WPF and C#. It is using .NET Core 3. It connects to Twitch chat. So we have a program right now, and I will show you that program. It's right here. And this program is a WPF app. It's got a bunch of settings for various things. We are currently looking at our status effects. And what this program actually lets us do is directly interact with Final Fantasy VII playing on my computer through Twitch chat. So I can do things like, you'll notice that Cloud started blinking red as soon as I typed that in. That is actually because I triggered the regen status on him while we're playing this. I can, tell the game to confuse Barrett, but it might not work because that animation started. Actually, it seemed to not trigger that. Maybe maybe I've got the command in wrong. I might not have the confuse command in there the way I think I do. Okay, so Barrett's asleep and Cloud's asleep. Let's see if that guy shooting them wakes them up. Okay, so Cloud was woken up by that. Oh, it will not let me braver Barrett. Bummer. So we'll have to wait a second, and Barrett wakes up. Okay, so it seems like they might be working, but we've seen bugs with this before. So we're just going to test a couple of things out. Feel free to use some chat commands in there. I've got a couple of them listed right there, so while the program's going, feel free to just try those, because those are simple bits of interactivity that you can get with the stream. So if you want to affect our menu colors live while we're playing, feel free to do that, and you'll actually see them update on screen while we're playing. Also, you could just type the name of any color in chat as the only thing that you say in chat, and you'll see something else happen too. So we like chat interactivity. It's fun stuff. So let me petrify Cloud. Do I have a way to undo that? No, I don't actually have a way to undo it. Alright, let's put Barrett to sleep then. Oh, good job, Root Guy. You made our overlay pink. Pink doesn't actually look all that good on the overlay because it's too light, so it ends up being very, very white. Okay, so when he hits Barrett, he wakes up. So that's actually working the way that it expected to. Give me 1 second. Lime. There we go. There we go. That's a better overlay color because you can actually tell that that we changed it. Oh yes, there you go. See. Thank you for actually using the command there, so you can see that changed our menu color while we're playing. So we have a new menu color. And yes, Root Guy, you can make the overlay black. Will someone change the overlay so it's not black? That's no fun. Okay. Red. Thank you. So, since I want to work with characters that are further along and have 3 characters to check status effects a little bit better, I am actually going to kill these characters. So, goodbye Cloud, goodbye Barrett, there's our game over. So that is one of the challenges. Yes, I have given chat the ability to just trigger a game over whenever they want. So, they can just petrify all the characters, and it does game over when they do that. So yes, I'm kind of brave in that sense, letting chat get away with that kind of stuff. But what can I say? There's no fun without giving chat a little bit of control like that. Okay, so let's see if we can't. Oh, I forgot I was gonna give him ribbon. Ooh, does anyone have ribbon right now? I guess we'll finish this combat and take a look. So let me explain what's going on. So there are some items in the game that are designed to prevent you from receiving status effects. So one of those items is a ribbon. And if your character has a ribbon, like essentially I think it's like they have a ribbon in their hair, almost all status effects in the game just don't work on them. So I know that Petrify does not work on them when they have ribbon. So that means that if I equip a ribbon to one of our characters, say Cloud, he does not have an accessory equipped right now. Does anyone? No one does. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. So see this accessory slot here? Nothing in it. I'm going to say accessory, Cloud, I don't know. What numbers? Question is, what number is ribbon, huh? Because I don't remember. Well, I guess we'll find out, huh? I'm just kidding. Alright, hang on. I want ribbon that's our ribbon. Where's our ribbon? Items. Ribbon. 18. Oh, we were so close, too. There we go. So Cloud is now equipped with a ribbon and protects against all abnormal statuses. This is a 90s game, don't expect a good translation. So, Cloud is equipped with a ribbon and is supposed to protect him from all status effects. Let's see what other ones I brought in here. So that protects against poison, darkness, sleep. Okay, so Tifa should not be able to go to sleep. And what can we protect Barrett from? What is White Frog and Small? This will stop Petrify. Okay, so Barrett's not supposed to be able to be petrified, neither is Cloud, and Tifa's not supposed to be able to be put to sleep. So let's see what happens. So we're going to get into combat inside of this elevator. When I go and press the elevator button, the character should walk to the middle, and then the elevator is going to go a little crazy. We'll trigger a combat here in a second. This is just how the game works. Because I just happened to load up a save where we are right before some triggered events. Some triggered combats, I should say. Okay, so lights start blinking just a little bit. And come on, give me control. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this will trigger our combat right here. So when we do this, we said Barrett can't be petrified, so we'll try that. We said Tifa can't be put to sleep, and Cloud should not be able to get either of those, but somehow they all happen. So what that means is, clearly, this is not working the way that we expect. Funny enough, we have given Cloud a regen while he is petrified, somehow. I don't know. So we've got a little bit of a bug here. And Tifa's not waking up. So there's a problem. So she's not supposed to be able to be asleep. So I think the game is assuming that she cannot be asleep because she's not allowed to have the sleep status, but because she has it, she's just staying asleep. So we're kind of hosed right here. So I'm going to go ahead and petrify her as well, so we'll get our game over screen, because we weren't getting out of that until she died anyway. So, alright, well, I think that illustrates the bug that we've got. So let's have a look at why that is. So, it's a good question. No, I don't want to load that one. Nor that one. I guess I want this one. Okay. So I'm re-equipping Cloud with a ribbon, so that we can continue looking at this. So he has a ribbon. Let's have a look at the code. So you're all going to see the secret of how we change the status effects. It's kind of wonky, actually, but it sort of works. So these are our status effects that we have in the system. They're all just, you'll notice the number values are exactly what you'd expect. It's like it's a standard bit mask style approach to see the status effects that are currently being applied to anyone. And if we go take a look at the status effect command will get us on the right path. The status accessor is the one that we want. Okay. So when this code runs, here's what happens. We have said which character you're trying to affect, that's this one here, and which status effect you're trying to apply. And we're saying that, okay, so get true status. So this is what the status currently is according to the game. So this is what the game thinks is currently being applied to the character. We then add in the status effect that we are trying to apply. So essentially by doing that, so like I just added them. Obviously you could just do a bitwise operation to, add in this value by just, putting it in there, but that should add the status. So this should have it when we apply that status. Actually, if they already had the status, would that cause problems? That would totally cause problems. We need to ore that. But that's not the problem here because... So this is just a different issue. So yeah, I need to fix that. This is the status for manipulate. Now... Oh, excuse me. Okay, let me explain manipulate. So there is a status effect in this game called manipulate. And the way that it works is a character in the game, and specifically if your character has the manipulate magic ability, they can cast manipulate on an enemy. When they do this, it actually makes it so the enemy is now controlled by the player. So essentially you take control of an enemy monster and you can make them cast a spell on your characters, for example. So it's in the game in order to allow you to learn some abilities that are defensive ones. So your characters can learn abilities from the enemy. So that, I mean, like, I guess it's technically there so you can manipulate the enemy and have them do stuff, but I don't think anybody uses it for that. Maybe. We use it so that we can learn some abilities from enemies in the enemy skill materia, which normally the enemies would never cast it on your characters, and so your characters can't learn the abilities because they're defensive. So you have to make the enemy cast defensive spells on your characters. So that's really why the manipulate materia exists in the game and why people remember it or use it. As probably was also intended to just get used. Anyway, the point is, this power is never given to the enemies. They cannot use this status effect on your characters. So, we leverage the manipulate status by essentially adding and removing the manipulate status. So right here we're checking to see their status. If we AND it with the manipulate status and we get the manipulate status out, then we clearly have the manipulate status. If we do, we're saying go ahead and remove it. Then we're going to attempt to apply the status effect that you asked for a handful of times. By a handful, I mean a bunch. And what we're actually going to do is we are going to switch back and forth between giving them the status you asked for and manipulate. And we're going to switch that with trying to remove and just setting their status as only the one that you said. So we're going to switch back and forth between these. And the reason why we're doing that is we want to be able to change the value. So because we want to have that value changing so the game will detect, hey, someone changed the state of this status, we are switching back and forth between a status that is invalid and a status that is valid so that it will hopefully detect it. And whenever their status has updated to the valid one, we will actually break out of the loop and say, hey, we're out of here, thanks. So it's not like, I mean, the code's kind of cruddy, but it worked, and we got it to work once. So that's why we did it. And it seemed to be effective. The problem that comes up is it's allowing us to set a status effect that we're not supposed to be able to set. So we need to look into either finding a way to prevent that from happening, or to make it so that this fails to even apply the status effect in some way. I'd be happy with either one. So if a streamer wants to equip the ribbon so that people can't, use status effect commands on them at a certain point in the game, awesome. They are totally welcome to do that. So, all right. So that tells me that if I try to apply the same status effect, something really weird is going to happen. Because the status effect plus equals the status effect status. True status, the status would be that. Yeah. That could get totally weird. Alright, I want to try this because this seems so wrong it's crazy. So I'm going to attempt to give someone the same status effect multiple times and see if it just breaks, like, horribly. Because I think we've got a bug with that. So I'm going to give Cloud regen, and then I'm going to give it to him again. Oh yeah, he's wonking out. He flipped. I don't know what that was. Like, what even is that? Why is he flipping backwards? What is going on? Alright, stop animating so I can confuse. Maybe it's not confuse. Hang on. Put him to sleep. Put him to sleep again. What happens when... Oh, so now he's poisoned. So he's gone from asleep to poisoned. And now he's backwards. Now he's asleep again, and he's poisoned again. Because we're adding, like, one at a time. Whoa, that's nuts. I don't even know what statuses are happening there, but yeah, we have a problem. That's got him backwards and poisoned, and yeah. Alright, well, we're going to track that down. Oh, Cloud ended up with Barrier at some point when we were doing all that. So that must be one of the status effects he got hit with. That's weird. Okay, well, that's what we get for taking a shortcut without really thinking about it. You're just like, oh yeah, this works, right? No, that doesn't work. Alright, so we need to just OR those values and then we'll be fine. Okay. Whoops. I meant to click stop, not restart. Don't restart. You're stopping. You're stopping. Yeah, stop restarting and stop already. There we go. Okay, so all we need to do here is say, can we do this? Or assign status, or this one. Yeah, that should work. Do I need this? Yes. I was just wondering, because you might be able to get away with it, because the Iliya might just be able to do that. Because this is getting weird, I'm actually just going to say greater than 0, status, and then manipulate status greater than 0, because that means there were any ones at all. So... then removing the manipulate status, as long as we know it's there, that technically is fine to just subtract it like that. That one shouldn't be a problem. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we should do with this one. Do we want to do that? Is there a Zor assignment? There's a Zor assignment. I guess we'll do that. And if it's even, you're willing to break. If not, you're willing to do that. The other thing that I'm realizing is we might want to do a we might need to lock in this just in case. Whoops. Did I type somewhere? Wait, what? What? Are you expecting that to just be it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, these should apply first, and then that. What's the... was I not able to do it, so do I have to put it back to this? So why was it red before then? Now it's not red? I am super confused by this, guys. Well, it says it builds, so I guess we'll go with it. I would have figured we could have compared the int with greater than 0, but apparently we cannot. Why? I have no idea. That's really strange. Alright, let's jump into our settings, our status effects settings, and we're going to enable them, and we're going to allow pretty much all of them. Allow confusion again. Oh, that's why. Confuse. Alright, so that's why it didn't work. We'll allow paralyze and petrify and peerless and all the other stuff, and stop. There we go. So all the status effects are turned on. Let's have another look. We're going to see if this works. Can I not get into combat here? Maybe I can't get into combat here. I might have to get in the elevator to trigger this one. We'll find out. So, what's everybody think? Is this going to work? And if so, what does sleep bottom do? It will put the bottom character in the combat to sleep, S&B. So, whichever character is listed on the bottom, so essentially you can think of that as the third character, whichever one that is in combat will be put to sleep. And put to sleep, I mean like sleeping, not like put to sleep meaning like dead. I mean like, you know, Z's over their head having a nap. There we go. So we stopped the elevator. We're gonna get into another combat. No. It's not putting the bot to sleep. It is putting the characters in combat to sleep. So here's an example. As soon as that animation ends, see those Z's over the character's head? So that character's now asleep. But if I have the other character punch him, he should wake up. Except that Cloud blocked it. Well, that's just great. Thanks, Cloud. Why don't you go asleep too? Alright, so she should be able to punch Cloud awake. Nope, doesn't work. Okay. That might be because Cloud, I think, is equipped with the ribbon right now. Can I wake up Barrett? Okay, I can wake up Barrett because Cloud is equipped with the ribbon, so that's why he's bugged right now. So that's the that is the problem that we had that we were talking about. So the regen statuses work. Can I confuse Barrett? Yep, I can confuse Barrett. Oh, that's not good. So he's confused right now. So he's going to spin around and attack just about anybody. But Tifa can't currently be killed because she has regen on, and now everybody does. Okay, so our changes to status effects right there did not break anything, it seems, so that's good. Now the question is this: can I reapply the same status effect again? Yep. Okay, so the status effect can be reapplied, and I'm not losing it. So we fixed that bug, so that's actually really good. Because that bug was kind of nasty and insidious, because you don't see it unless someone does the same status effect twice, which why would they do that when the status effect is already there? Okay, so Cloud's sleep actually went away naturally. I wasn't sure it was going to do that. Now, if he gets confused, we're going to have problems because we can't end his confusion right now, I don't think. Yep, we can't. Okay, so he is stuck in that confused state because I don't think there is an end time on confuse, but maybe there is. I don't remember how long that one lasts. But I just wanted to test that, and it seems that we do have that bug there. So, since we've solved one bug, I think it's time for me to do a commit on this one, at least. Sorry for pausing mid-combat there. So this is what we changed. So we switched this from being a minus to being a XOR operation. Did we actually modify this line at all? It seems to claim that we did. That's not... I don't see a change. Does anybody else see a change? Yeah. What changed? There's no change. But it's detecting one. And ReSharper stopped yelling at me, so something about that line changed. Maybe a line ending or something? I'll have to look on GitHub and see what happened with that. Okay, so, fix bitwise bugs with status effects. Okay, we need to make a branch for this. This is Benric, status, effect, bugs. Bring my changes over, please. Thank you. Commit this onto the branch, push it up. And let's take a look at these changes then. So I'm actually just going to do it. So I'm not actually going to do the pull request, but I'm going to come in here because it's a quick way to do a comparison. Yeah, that line is listed as changing, but nothing changed. What changed? Nothing's highlighted, but it says that line changed. Huh. I don't know what that is. But either way, that is a quick, easy fix. So that gets us one. So hooray. The other fixes that we need to do are figuring out why our accessories are messing us up. So apparently when you have that accessory, it just really, really breaks. Because Cloud has the ribbon equipped, doesn't he? Yeah. So as long as he has that equipped, the game is basically able to be broken. We cannot just look for items that have status effect manipulation, because that's not going to help us out. Because we would need to... that might be on my end, actually. I am seeing a few dropped frames right now, S&B, so that could be on me. Yeah. Reasonable number of dropped frames. The web connection's way down. Not just you. Seeing it here also. Network issues, it seems. Huh. No, not just you. Not just you. Huh. Yeah, that's really out. Yeah, I'm dropping, like, significant number of frames right now. It's not the computer, is it? It's not like my network connection doing something, is it? No, it's not that. No, my everything on my computer seems to be fine. Seems to be the network. Huh. Yeah, it's not maintaining a connection at all. That is a bummer. Yeah, exactly, Fuel Snable. Dev stutter. Oh, man. Wait, hang on, wait. Might be coming back. So right now, OBS is like spiking the network with data. It looks like it might be coming back up. Are we back up? I think we might be back up. No longer dropping frames. But it's sending out way more data than it normally does. About twice what my stream normally does. And by that I mean like what I have it configured to send. Huh. Is it clearing up at all? Fuel Snable, yeah, if you're that far back, I think it was white space. Something to do with white space. But I don't know exactly what the deal was. Stream might be back. Let me try this. Let me refresh on my stream. Let me find out. Okay, so I refreshed mine and it looks good. So let me just wave at my own thing, and if that's not stuttering, then yeah, no, it looks good. Looks like we're back up. Looks like we're back up. So I recommend doing a refresh to make sure that you get a nice clean view of the stream again. No, should be back up. Should be back up. I think my ISP just, died there for a minute, so few minutes of horribleness. Yes, exactly, Fuel Snable. Someone hacked the stream. They were flying around. I mean, you've seen the movie Hackers. Someone's probably flying around. They probably found a trash file or something like that in a garbage file. Garbage file? Is that what? Yeah, garbage file. Something like that. Yeah. All right. So that is working again. That applies the manip status. That changes that. Okay. How do we want to restrict this? How can we detect that? We need to figure out how we can detect that. I don't think that that is something that we're going to get solved today. Because that just won't happen. Because I'm going to really need to dig into figuring out what is going on with the status effects and how it determines whether or not one can be applied. So, we will not do that one today. We will look at something else. Is the program running? Nope. Let's run the program again. So it's back in here. Let's see. So we have this. You know what I haven't clicked in a long time? I haven't clicked the Save Settings button in a long time. So I don't actually know. This might just throw an error when we do it. Let me enable status effects by default. Yep, let's see if it bombs. Does it blow up? No! Oh man, I think it might have worked. Hey, I think it worked. Cool. So that's nice. I hadn't actually clicked the save button in a long time, so I wasn't sure if it was actually going to save or not. So, yay. Let's jump back in here while I'm thinking about it. So we do need to get that status effect piece merged in. So let's actually, now that I think about it, let's go into GitHub. We're going to send in that pull request. Real development stuff. Send in pull requests. Compare. Yep, that sounds great. Send that in. Okay. Pull request created. Next up, I want to look at this Seng program again, see if we can't rip any more of it out and bring it into the rest of the app so that we can share our code. All right. Oh yeah, find out why we are locking here. Forgot I had that comment for myself. What other to-dos do I have in here? This needs to run or starts it? I don't know what I meant by that. Abstract magic string names behind variables so that it's used for image extraction. Isn't the naming convention of starting private variable names with underscores Python only? Hey Chris, no it is not actually. This is actually standard within the .NET world as well, so has been for a long time. Just starting with underscores to indicate that it is a private field. And I should specify private field on that one, as other private members like properties and methods do not use underscores at the start of them. So, yep, fairly normal within C# as well. The weird one is Java, I think, starts it with M. Is like the old convention. I don't know how many people still do that one. The underscore I like because it's just kind of out of the way and doesn't interrupt the reading of the text itself, so the name's still clear. Okay, so character cloud. Alright, so send game data character cloud, return cloud. Why does he need string for this? Get face for character? Face? What do we use this for? This might just be to reference the file name? Face? Let's search the solution for face. Hey Iron Raid, welcome. Yeah, no problem, Chris. Whoops, I didn't want interface, I want just face. So I will hop into the find options and say match case, find all. Alright, what do we got? Get face for the character. And someone might be asking, why aren't I using, Oh, right. Because I did this search and then I added the casing, and then that actually breaks the whole reason why I did it that way. Yeah, so this property here, the challenge is when this gets transferred back into the JavaScript, it's going to switch it to be a it's going to be lowercase. Yeah, find all references won't actually get that for me. So I need to go to status CSS HTML right here. Because I think the JavaScript is just in this one, inside of the view data, because we just kind of yanked this in. So let's look for face in here. Character, face. So in here, it's now called character. But it's the constant. Wait, car has characters, character, face? How's name and face different? Ah! So car.character? Alright, there we go. So car.character keybind on that. So that means if I take a look at app character, so inside of this view component, oh, what happened in here? Okay. Oof. Images character data.character right there. So we are just using does this get used anywhere else? No. Okay. So found it. Found out what face is used for and why. So inside of this code, it looks like what he did was wire it up so that the image for the character, it's character dash and then the character name and then .png. So in order to make that work, what we have to do is put that on our object so that we don't have to use theirs. Will there be a WoW Classic, a DevChatter Classic guild? FuelSnable, not planning on it. I do know a bunch of people that are creating WoW Classic guilds, but wasn't planning on making a DevChatter one. Nope. Let's see. Underscore is also used in small talk. C# community isn't so consistent on naming conventions. FuelSnable, yeah, they used to be, but the C# community grew a little bit bigger. And the problem is there's also like two rivaling opinions. Some people that still like to use the underscore, which I'm in that camp, and some people that want to get rid of it. If Visual Studio were consistent on every single person that was running it had different colors, like syntax highlighting on private fields, so you could always detect a private field, I would be more okay with getting rid of the underscore, but I like the just, the visual cue that you just immediately get of, that's one of the private fields in this class. So I really like that. Now, if it were, in some other way visually represented without me having to bring a cursor over it or anything like that, then that actually would be very nice. Java's been more consistent from the start. So I do like consistency within a code base, but whatever standard you've got is totally cool. But I like consistency within a code base. So the tabs versus spaces argument, I really don't care as long as you pick one. The trolls that go both, there's always the troll that says both for tabs versus spaces. But yeah. I used to program in C++, and yeah, C++, I don't know of a lot of consistency among C++ devs. Microsoft giving you a fat check to migrate to Mixer? No, FuelSnable. So the funny thing about that one is that some people that are among the Live Coders team, which, by the way, I stream as part of the Live Coders team here on Twitch, but some of us, a long time ago, even like Fritz was originally streaming on both Twitch and Mixer, and he had a lot of trouble using Mixer, ran into a bunch of problems, and Fritz is a Microsoft employee and couldn't get support from Mixer, and so left. And the ridiculousness of that is that it's like you guys, like, they didn't even try to help out the Microsoft employee that was trying to use the platform. And you just kind of sit there and you go, like, what are you guys doing? Like, you drove live coding to Twitch. Not that we're, like, a huge profit center, but, like, it's just weird that it's like you didn't bring more attention because, like, you'd think that you'd want any community that you could, moving on to your platform before you go and start throwing money at, Ninja, for example. And, Coding Gorilla, welcome. You seem to be delayed, though. Yeah, it might be different today, but the problem is, when was that? So, like, a year and a half ago, Mixer pretty much drove us all away, so... Oh, was he? I was not on Fritz's stream yesterday, but I'm not surprised, because he actually used to stream on Mixer, as well as Twitch, long time ago. Which actually, I think is a problem, because it's a pain to keep track of one chat, let alone two. Alright, so we don't want this here. Where is he calling get face for character? Also, how's face different from... oh, that's current name. So yeah, we need default character name is what we need. Many things change over 18 months. Yes, FuelSnable, I agree. Yeah, Coding Gorilla probably fixes your delay. But you can always, to test your delay, for anyone that's interested in testing your chat delay, anytime you're on a stream, any streamer that puts the chat like I do off on the side, you can actually just type in a message and see how long until your message appears, because it appears in there the moment I receive it. So, wait, is that... Did he? Yeah, he did. That is hilarious. He either wrote that or switched it. That's funny. He switched it to ++m. Huh. That's funny. And I like how I had to use a snippet just to make sure. that I wasn't crazy and that really is the order that it goes. Alright, so, car names. So all is all of them right now. So when I do this, this is going to create a bug that we're then going to quickly have to fix. So we're going to have Sephiroth, and we're going to have Young Cloud. So in this game, I should specify that there are a couple of other things that are unique. So this is the 9 characters that can be in your party at any given time during the game. These are the only 9 characters that can be in your party. You cannot get any other characters in your party in the course of the game. You can only have Cloud, Tifa, Barret, Eris, Red 13, Kate Sith, Vincent, Yuffie, and Sid. Only ones. Now, anyone that has played the game is wondering, if they're really thinking about it, whether or not what I said is true, because they might remember that in the game there is actually a flashback scene where your characters are in a party with someone named Sephiroth. And in fact, you, like Cloud and Sephiroth, are in combat together against an enemy. And this happens in the game. To which you then go, so explain that, Brendan. And I would say, oh, that's easy to explain. These are the 2 characters that are actually in that combat. Cloud is actually Kate Sith, and Sephiroth is actually Vincent. And what the game does is that actually just loads up a separate model for each of those characters, changes the stats and changes the name, so that it can run a combat with 2 characters that you cannot have in your party yet. The reason why it does that? Because these 2 and this character here, there are only 3 that cannot be in your party at that moment in the game when you see the flashback. You can actually get any other character, including Yuffie, at that point. So because of that, they had to use Kate Sith and Vincent. They obviously could have used Sid also, but they used Kate Sith and Vincent in order to do that. And then they just replaced them with these, because then they won't be modifying a character that you've already recruited. So these are the ones they actually play with. What that means to us is that we need to be careful with how these are used, because we have now, we're changing this. We want only these to exist because these are the only characters in the game, but we need these to sort of work as well. So it'll be a little bit weird. I almost don't want this to work. Is that just a string? So it's like a new list of string that's just empty? Yeah, we'll just do an empty list of string. Because we don't want anybody to actually be able to use any commands for these characters, I don't think, but we kind of want them to exist, because we need to in some way acknowledge them in our game. We need to know that they're a thing, in case we need to do stuff with them. So once we do that, we have Sephiroth and we have Young Cloud, and they should work. Oh yeah. That's funny. Let me show you a little thing that we did, because this is actually alluding to what I was just talking about. So in these 2 values, this Kate Sith and the Vincent one, notice here at the end that I have game moments after the calm flashback. So while you're playing the game, it is actually keeping track of like some game moments. So it is essentially what we're saying is after this point in the game, you are allowed to rename these characters, but not before. So the game is keeping track of your progress as you play. So your progress along the main storyline. And that's how it keeps track of this. So we're not allowing you to rename them until you're after the calm flashback. So we watch for that to finish. As soon as it's done, these characters are allowed to be renamed, because we don't want to rename them when their names are going to have to be used for Sephiroth and Young Cloud. Okay. So in here, instead of doing this, get face for character, I want to say car names dot get by name chr dot character. No, that's his character object. So he has a character object that's that. Where did he set this? On here, then. He sets it here when he's mapping that out. So pulls character, so character gets set here, and fill character, so where did we call that? We called this 6 times? That seems weird. 9 times would make sense. 6 times doesn't make sense to me. I guess in 2 places 3 each time would make sense? Okay, so it's 2 places 3 each time. So this is who is in the party. Oh, wow. Okay, so it's pulling them based on the ID. Okay. Why would the answer ever be Chocobo? Can you ever have a Chocobo on your side of the combat? I don't know that that's possible. That's new to me. Alright, so this is like the character Inu, which I'm not big on, Hungarian naming, so like calling this character Enum is not a thing that I would really want to do. But if these are actually the values that they use for them inside of the game data to indicate who is in the party at any given time, map party offset, this must be which character it is. So map save offsets party member 1. So I guess that must be their ID. So I'm okay with doing that then. So I will match these to our IDs instead, since nothing should be using them right now. So Cloud is this one then. That means Barrett is actually the second one. And he is 0x1. 0x2 for Tifa, and then Eris is 0x3. Red 13 is 0x4. This is 5. 6. 6 should be Kate Sith. Wait, hang on. Red, Yuffie's before them. That makes sense because you can get Yuffie in your party before you can get them. So Yuffie is 5. So she's 5. This is 6. This is 7. And Sid should be 8. Yes, so Kate Sith, Vincent, and Sid is 8. Which means that Young Cloud is number 9. So we'll flip these. Sephiroth is 10. Well, sorry, 10. Let me write this correctly. We switched to Hex for this. And then Chocobo and None. Which I'll include because they're here. So this is FF. So that's there isn't a character in the party at that spot. So this is matching their party ID in there, which I'm really hoping that the game used the same ID for the character when they're in combat as when they're in your party. If they didn't, I'm going to smack somebody, because that'll be really annoying. Chocobo and none. Okay. So we need some special values for how to handle them. To do, exclude these from most stuff we do. They're non-standard. Okay, so we're gonna need to do that, but this lets us change up what's going on here, so we can actually just get rid of this entirely, almost. Is 0xb the same as 0xb? Coding Gorilla, I have no idea what the difference is in what you just typed there. But the number that... Oh, yes, Coding Gorilla, yes, those are the same. Yep, 0xb and 0x0b are the same. Yep, that's correct. You can add as many leading zeros as you want, kind of like how, like, the number 42 is the same as, you know, whoops, not with the 9 there. But this is the same number as 42, right? That's obviously equal. Same thing applies with hex numbers. So it's just a number, it's just a way of writing it. Okay, so this makes me want to include this in just the names of them at this point, like as data on this object. Do we just replace spaces with hyphens? Use their standard name? Yeah, use default name, replace spaces with hyphens and lowercase the whole thing? Yeah. Cool, I'm just gonna prop that. So we're gonna say public string, what, sanitize name? Will be default name dot to lower and replace spaces with those. There we go. So now, wherever this got created, we can stop using it there. We no longer need this. Actually, let's change what we did with none. I want to just make none be empty, because I think that's the none one. Alright. So now inside of this, I think I deleted the method, so there should be an error. Here we are. So the face for this is going to be character. So this is going to be character name, but we're going to say, instead of that, we're going to do, what did I call it? I called it sanitized default name. So we're going to do character sanitized default name, but this is not the right type for that. So this is going to be a car names from that. And let's rename this to default name. Default sanitized default name. There we go. And then over here, we changed it somewhere. Something's got to be breaking because Phil Car is taking this and can't actually use it there because this is not the right thing. So this needs to be a car So actually, we'll bring it in like that, and then we'll do this for now. We'll say car names by ID character cast to an int, because that's an enum. So that'll get us that at that point. So we've only partially pulled out this enum. It's not all the way out yet. Hey, Mr. Shoji, welcome. Is it sometimes leading 0 is an octal? No, okay, yes, all right, yes, sorry. Fuel Snibble, you're correct. In some languages, the leading 0 does mean it is an octal. But that is not the case here. And in fact, that in C#, always thought that format required that. No. So hex actually, so you do need the 0 before the X, but in C# they've actually got a few of these. So here, let me show you. So this will be hexnum is going to be right. So that's a hex number. We can say binary number equals 0b, and well, I didn't leave myself room to actually put in the same number, but that's a binary number right there. And just to prove it to you, I can do those, and that still works just fine. That'll confuse 1042 will confuse everyone. I gotta do that. And then we could say desnum equals, and I don't know, 1337. Congratulations. But I could also, 01337, and that's fine as long as I don't put like another thing in there. I don't think support hex floats. Fuel Snibble. If they do, I don't know of how to do a hex float literal in C#. So not as far as I know. And yes. Okay. So that'll grab the character by ID and get them this, and then we'll have default name as this, and hooray. So we haven't totally eliminated that because it's still used in a bunch of places, but hopefully we can switch them off. Yeah, here we go. So this get character offset, that's the same kind of thing. We can load that into our object, and we no longer need to pull them this way. So where are the save map offsets stored right now? That is over here in the constants for this. Yeah, if we pull that into our core project, we can use this elsewhere also, which lets us get away with a bunch of other nice things. So ISDev, your question of can the bot run on Linux? The answer to that is kind of. With some changes, it would work on Linux reasonably well. However, we use a GUI application, and that it would be Windows only. So if you were to just pull out the code that starts up the bot and makes it run and leave out the UI part completely that allows for configuration, yes, it would run on Linux just fine. The problem that you'll run into is that when it will not be able to actually make any changes to the game because you won't have access to the Windows DLL that we're using in order to write the game's memory. So the bot part, the chat bot, that would work. And actually my main chat bot, that's the one that's just running in the chat normally, that one will just run in Linux just fine. Because it does not have a WPF front end. So, short answer is some bots, some pieces, yes, they can run in Linux. But since Final Fantasy VII, the PC version is what we're altering, like without putting another layer on there, it's not intended for Linux anyway. So The program we're altering is a Windows one, so hence why we didn't really try to make it support Linux. So get character offset. Let's move this code now rather than later. So we're going to take this and see if we can just yank it, because I think it's just numbers, right? Yeah, it's just numbers. So it can live anywhere. It doesn't have any dependencies on anything else. So let's jump into Solution Explorer and go up to the core project. And this is where Final Fantasy VII. Yes, here. So save map. Did I copy it? I hope I did. Yeah, save map offset. There it goes. So it moved just fine. Yeah, no problem, ISDev. Thank you for asking the question. So this should move it into here, and then that'll alter there. So, okay, now that that has shifted, we can leverage it elsewhere. So the save map offset, cloud record, Barrett record, blah, 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 these record pieces that we were using over here, like this, just need to get moved onto the characters. And then there's Young Cloud and Sephiroth as well. So let's go to car names. Save map offsets. Cloud record. Okay, where is it? So the game moment's right there. I want the game moment to be the last thing. So we're going to say, the save map offset isn't actually much of a thing, is it? It is... Whew! Okay, so this is actually just a memory location at that spot. Where do we use these, to be honest? What do we use them for? Let me take a look real fast. Because so here's the debate I'm having. I want to know whether or not I should leave these as integers that are just the constants for the addresses in memory for where they are as an offset. These aren't actually memory locations because this is accessing the save map offset, so this is slightly different. This isn't a direct memory location, this is the offset. So yeah, these I'll keep as constants because they are not actually memory locations. We should maybe consider making an object for that contains the data for like how big the record is too, so that we can get that reusable in places. Okay, so we'll make it save map record offset. Okay. So there's Cloud's save map record offset. This one needs to be Barrett record. Welcome, Robert, Tables, and friends. Greetings. Hopefully you're having a fantastic Saturday. Greetings. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for that raid, Robert. Happy Saturday indeed. Heck, heck, heck. Ship it. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Thank you. Glad to see you here. Our good friend Robert, we call him Bobby here. He's a very nice guy. Bobbert, if you're so inclined. When Robert was actually in school, they had a little bit of problem when they added him into the student database because his name is actually what is this? Robert single quote, and then it's like closing paren, semicolon, and then dash dash, and then like, or maybe it was drop table students and then dash dash. Yeah, something like that. I think that's your name. I don't remember. That's your legal name, right? I think it is. Pretty sure. Crazy parents, that guy. Yeah, there. Thank you, Wheatlaw. That's his name. That's the one. Kate Sith record. And then, so we are modifying a little bit of data today. For anyone that's coming in, we are still doing our combining of two separate projects that are Final Fantasy VII essentially interactive programs. One of them is the Seng party status overlay that is written by Mr. Shoji, who you might have seen pop into chat for a little bit and say hi. He wrote the status overlay, which is the part that we're doing right now. We're trying to bring them together. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm taking the best stuff out of each thing. So there's a couple of pieces where the overlay had better code for something, and there's a couple of places where Interactive 7 had better code for things. And so essentially what I'm doing is I'm trying to bring these together and have just one code base so that it's shared, because there's a decent number of pieces where we wrote the same stuff. So logic of figuring out which character is which, and they're keeping track of their names and other things like that. We want to be able to just have that data available in some fashion in the game. Since we know the game tracks 9 characters, most mods do not actually change the 9 characters. If they do allow additional party members on your team, the way that they're usually doing it is the same way that I mentioned earlier, how there are a couple of characters. You basically take the ones that are not available yet, and you reuse them. So some people allow you to have Jesse in your party, for example, in the first mission. And when they do that, they actually have Tifa in your party, and they just change her model to look like Jesse and change her name. And so they effectively can get additional characters by just reusing one that you don't have access to yet. So it's a nice little trick that the modding community has gotten away with, essentially. So that's Sephiroth record. And these should not have them. So I'm actually just gonna... -1 maybe on these? I want to actually have an offset for that, though, so that there is one, and we can find it elsewhere. So this, yeah, so we're returning back 1, -1 for this. So save map offset, let's just make, invalid, just so that we can be consistent. Yeah, I guess invalid's not bad. I don't know what we should really be putting on there, but might be a better word for that. But invalid seems to get the point across to me that that's not a valid record. And then we can also check for that as well. DES, hello, greetings, welcome. Wheatlall, that was pretty spotty, yeah. Well, I do know sequels, so I can at least guess, and off the top of your head, just kind of speaking sequels is actually really hard. Actually, speaking almost any programming, without thinking about it, without having it written anywhere, is actually a challenging task. So yeah, I'm not even wearing a hat either, so that's nice. I don't wear hats on stream, man. I mean, I've occasionally put them on, but I don't usually wear hats on stream. Probably because I usually only wear hats when I'm out, and I want to have sun protection when I'm doing this. So, call me crazy, but that's generally what I think is useful with hats. Auto prop? Save map record offset? Yeah, that'll work. Okay. So that means goodbye. I think that one too. There we go. Where was that called? There we go. There's the offset. So let's do this to start off with. So I called this car names, but I almost want to just make this default character info or something like that and put all the default character info on here. So we've already got the character, so the offset's just going to be car name dot, there we go. And why did I pluralize that? And by that I mean, like, why did I let it pluralize that? But it's not Robert Table's drop database school, for example. There are many ways... That's true, Wheatlaw, yes. They are just dropping the table for the students, not dropping the whole database because, well, they're mean, but not quite that mean. Oh, yeah, well, you have to have the dashes at the end. That's actually really important because that's how you comment out the rest of whatever the query was that they were doing. Or which table got dropped. Yeah. Yeah, that could be Wheatlaw. I don't know. Maybe people don't remember that stuff. That seemed like an easy detail to me. Okay, but that, I think, so I want to do a commit, but this is a work in progress commit because I told you that I know of a bug we created. So, yeah, the 2 dashes are for cover. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Robert's correct. It's for covering your tracks because you don't want anyone to see the error message. So you need the SQL query to just complete. You don't want to have like a syntax error at the end of it. Stupid AI, GG. Welcome. That won't do anything right now because the program's not running. But we can get it running here in a little bit. Let me jump us over onto the master branch, bring my changes with me. I am going to create a new branch for this. This is new branch, Benric, more, Sang, integration. I can type, I promise. Bring these changes along again. So... everything built, right? Actually, I didn't look. Did we get a build error? Is everything build? Build. Do it. There we go. Boop. So that's really what we're doing is we're switching to using i7's car names class. And this is very much a work in progress. Considering code is data... What is this? Will we ever live in a world where data doesn't risk becoming code? Data doesn't risk becoming code? Code is data, yes. But I think if what you mean is, can we leave data as data and not hard code the data? So right now I am hard coding some of the data, but ideally what I'm matching up with is the game really does only have 9 character slots. So what we can do is we can change the character slots to be really numbered slots, and the name data can come from the actual game itself, at which point the data is still the data. And not really being treated as code, but the fact that there are 9 is kind of built into that. Yes. You're talking about like you know, effectively how things can actually get yes, that there are all kinds of injection attacks where some data that someone typed in gets used as code. Yep. Yeah. Yep. I thought he was talking about what I was doing, but yeah. No, totally legit. Yeah, exactly. There's all kinds of problems like that where the data ends up causing a problem because of that. Yep, you were totally correct. I don't think we're going to get free of that one. Now, you know, stopping SQL injection attacks is not that difficult because the short answer is don't you, like, either you have to sanitize all user inputs before you use them, or you need to do things like, well, I mean, effectively, some of the techniques that we're doing, all they're really doing behind the scenes is sanitizing and stuff like that. But if you use parameterized SQL in most languages, you're not going to be subject to SQL injection. Just don't ever use user input. So, for example, in our program here, short answer, The best way to stay safe from injection attacks of any kind is to whitelist. Don't blacklist. Don't say things like exclude these characters or exclude those, or hey, I'm receiving HTML, let me block these tags. No, don't do that. You need to whitelist only what you allow if you are going to accept user input. So, for example, in our program, well, first off, I think this program is going to throw an exception. We'll see. I told you there's a bug that we've got right now, but when people send me colors, for example, in our code, I don't just take the values that they sent me and alter the program based on that, because, well, that's gonna have issues if they do that. Instead, what I do is I take their values and I just check to see, like, which color did they specify? And instead of saying, hey, I'm taking your data and let's see if it's it's like, let's run it. No, I don't do that. I say, hey, which color did you specify? Okay, that's one of my colors, I can use that. So I'm effectively always using data that my system already had and just asking your code what data it thinks it is. So for anyone that's interested in trying it right now, because I saw some people come in and try to use some of the menu commands, if you do want to alter the colors of our menu or anything like that, feel free to go ahead while we're chatting about stuff. The only good way is to encode your values. Yeah, so Wheatlaw is correct. You can either use just forms of encoding. So for example, if someone sends me HTML and I want to display that HTML, I need to display it instead of just putting it on the page. Some other options that are available to you are whitelisting, as I mentioned. Oh, give me a break. Sometimes you actually want to use it, though, as code. And if you do, then you can't just encode it. You need to actually do something with it. I think because how many problems it causes, it should be impossible or easy option safe, but I saw questions on... Oh, fuel stable. I didn't, so I did not read whatever that one was. Someone must have been asking in one of the channels. I was not keeping up to date on our Discord yesterday. There you go. Yeah, exactly, SharkDeed. SharkDeed, use more color choices. Don't just make it white. What are you doing? You can give it like 4 colors. Why would you only give it 1? Red, green, blue, and black. Yep, or we can change it to that. There you go. Aqua, teal, blue, and green. That's way better. Thank you, Mr. Shoji. Much better color palette there. The option to execute strings should not be the primary approach. Yes, yeah, that's pretty true. But the problem with SQL is that... Yes, the problem with SQL is because it is just text that we're using for a lot of these things. When you just put it in there, that will just run it. Yep. So for anyone that is wondering, that's what those menu commands that I suggest right here mean. Is they are changing colors up there. Okay. So actually, it's breaking a little bit less than I expected it to, because I thought we were going to have a different problem, but that's not bad. Okay, so let's find how many other places are using this. Because for some things it makes sense, but if we can just get this information right off the bat, we don't have to do those multiple switches. Okay, so this is just pulling it out. Which, to be fair, this is then just doing a conversion it doesn't need to do. Because fillcard takes in this, but we then cast it to an int. So, let's just make it an int. So we'll say character ID. ID. So there's the character ID. Which now this is yelling at us because it says, hey, that's not a thing. And then I go, okay, cool. Alright, so is it gone? That might be gone, like totally unused gone. No, it's still used over here. Okay. Oh, but that's also just calling that's calling the same thing. So they disappear from here as well. That's not bad. Okay, is that all of them? Yeah, there we go. This is the only reference to it? Yep, there it is. Okay, cool. Which is nice, because that disappearing is way simpler. Yeah, we no longer have that code duplicated. I will say I don't mind some duplicated stuff depending on the circumstances. Nice, Coding Gorilla. Yeah. We all do a lot of copying and pasting. That's a thing. That's just part of programming. There's no shame in copying and pasting some code. All right. So that's removing character enum. So that is gone. We now have one spot, and it contains a... So the idea is that we want to get to the point where when you're dealing with a character, regardless of how many operations you need to do with that character, you just access one thing, and it's like, oh, okay, I have all the information I need to work with that character. So that's why we pulled it into that one class. You taught your mouse how to copy and paste. Oh, that's nice, Wheatlaw. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Robert Taylor. No, that's a very good idea. If you copy and paste a whole bunch, you can save wear and tear on your keyboard. In fact, the nice thing about that approach, and I bet that you actually do this, is if you get a stronger control key, a C key, and a V key, you can actually just make those extra strength keys, and then you don't have to get a full keyboard of extra strength keys. It's super, super useful. So yeah, you can just make sure that your copying and pasting is, yep, I know exactly what you mean. Yes, it is much more efficient. Way better that way, because otherwise you'd be hitting so many keys on your keyboard, it would just destroy it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love fixing bugs in 10 places. I was working on some code recently. Actually, I was working on some code yesterday, where I was looking at some code that someone had written, and I will actually point out that this was not me. You know, sometimes when you tell those stories, you're like, oh yeah, that someone did this. No, this wasn't actually me. And what he ended up doing is, in the code, there were 17 files, of which only one line varied per file. Yeah, exactly. I'm asking for a friend. And I was like, oh, that's a lot of copying and pasting. Like, if there's a bug in here, that's 17 places you need to fix this bug. It's like, they're identical. Like, yeah, okay. Let's see if we can make this one and give it a single parameter in the method. I'm going to write a bot that selects lines, copies, and pastes via voice command. Oh, wow, that's brilliant, Coding Gorilla. You won't need... Yeah, your keyboards will last so long if you do that. Super, super nice idea right there. Speaking of copying and pasting code, there is actually a project I've been meaning to do on stream that I haven't gotten around to, which I guess I'll talk about for a second. So, this program does not exist anymore. As far as I know. This website is still here, but I don't think the program is downloadable or usable anymore. Let's find out. Yep, that's not there. Is this one here? Nope. Okay, so they're not there. So Atomic is a code similarity finder that I actually like quite a bit. bunch of years ago, I used to use this all the time. And it's really useful because what it does is it just finds areas of similarity. And it has nice ways of visualizing and finding all the different pieces. So, hilariously, this is like, you know, it draws lines between them, so you can actually see like how your code is interconnected, where the repetition is, and you know, just track everything down so you can find out like, oh, how many, you know, lines are duplicated, how many blocks, you know, so it's just broken up in these nice ways to be able to track down where your duplication is. The guy that actually originally wrote this and stopped maintaining it sent me the code in case I wanted to just get it working again. So I've been thinking about doing it on stream at some point. So Visual Studio kind of does this a little bit now, and some other tools do this as well. The nice thing about Atomic is that it worked with any text, really. So it had an understanding of how a lot of programming languages work and what concepts of blocks are. But it really was just looking at text, so you could point it at any programming language and it would just look and find it. So hence why, you know, it points out it's like all these different types of languages it works really well with, because it's just looking at text, just saying like, hey, where are you repeating text? What are you doing with text? So designed for like tracking down duplication in programs. Yeah, it was a really nice tool. I liked using it a lot. Need to get it working again at some point. Yes, exactly. So funny enough, Fuel Stable mentioned the key thing, and this is why having a tool that looks for the duplication is so useful, is that I said there were 17 identical files that really just had like one tiny change, but it could be that there was a small change in another one, like in one of them that was different about, you know, from all the rest of them, but you'd never be able to tell. Whereas if you structure it differently so that there's like one and it's parameterized and, you know, that's how that works, then the one that's different would actually just either be composed to be different, or you could just take the easy answer of just be like, oh no, we'll just subclass for that one. Depending on the circumstances, you might just do that. Depends. JetBrains has this type of inspection in at least WebStorm and probably Rider and the other IntelliJ-based IDEs. Yep, that doesn't surprise me, Coding Gorilla. Yeah, I don't remember if NDepend did it either. So funny enough, the guy that made Atomic also made a product called Nitric that would have been an NDepend competitor, but very useful. Yes, Wheatlol, it detects. So the reason why it's called a code similarity finder is, even if variable names are different, it usually can tell that, and it generally ignores those ones. So it kind of says, yeah, this was similar, and it will still give you ratings based on that. So it spots that it was so that's how it would detect that you had the same code but like your strings were different, or you had the same code but your number values were different, things like that. So it does detect that. Let's see. Effects. Status effect on the character? What the heck? Nope, that's just a standard enum 2-string. No, stop. Don't look. No, I don't. No, I don't need to see that. Alright, so status effect was just a status effect. So 2-string, you get out the values of this, so that's a nice shortcut. The effect equals the status effect of that. That's interesting. Huh, I actually like that. Resharper command line tools does duplicate detection, but it outputs an XML and you'll need to parse or exit. I think I remember that it did that, Renee. Don't stop, never surrender. Congratulations, Mr. Shoji. You won 100 coins from the bot. Alright, what changes do we have right now? None. Okay. Oh, that doesn't need to be like that anymore. I kinda want to pull this out. Yeah, I kinda want to pull all of this out somewhere else. But maybe this is all that's left in here, so it really is just the status runner. At which point it's not like saying program doesn't make sense anymore, because we named it this because this used to be a program.cs in a separate project, and then we started pulling stuff out of it. But it might be that this just needs a rename, and then it'll make more sense, because it almost seems like it's like the party status tracker or something like that, or like the watcher, observer. I don't know, something like that, because it's sort of just watching the current state of things. So that might be what we call it. Hard to say. Yeah, we'll commit that. Why not? Okay. Hey, thanks, Renee. That's a nice, nice blue color we've got on the stream now. It's always nice when people know about the fun little features you've got on your stream. Stuff like that. All right. Well then, let me click at the buttons. So what we're gonna do today is I'm going to be wrapping up the stream here. We're going to run our credits, but I do want to make sure that we raid a friend of ours whose stream is starting up today. Not for a stream, but like stream just started a couple of minutes ago, so we'll be doing that. I want you all to stick around with me when we do, but first I want to mention a few things. First off, if you have not yet, be sure to join our Discord, as there's a lot of cool conversations that go on over there, so you can chat with other people that are interested. What is love? Crimson Green coming in with the 17-month Twitch like sub. That's actually really awesome. Crimson Green, welcome to the stream, and thank you for that subscription. So if you want to be cool as Crimson Green, well, I don't know if that's even possible, but if you want to try to get close, subscribing to the channel is one of the ways to do it, as it does get you access to Chattosauruses, both in terms of emotes as well as subscriber badges here in the chat. But either way, if you want to check out any of our code, it's out at GitHub at github.com/devchatter. And I do also want to point out, if you missed any of our previous episodes, you can find recent episodes in the video section here on Twitch, but you can actually see our full archives that has, like, 214 episodes of the DevChatter stream over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/devchatter, to see all of those. I'm going to toss other links in the chat as well. There are links down below. If you are one of those people that is watching this stream on YouTube, hello, person in the future. Either way, I'm going to roll credits. We're actually going to raid our good friend Carrie, whose stream is starting up, I think, right now. For some reason, so I've got her camera pulled up. We're looking down at her desk, I think, right now. So we will be over there in a second. But before we go, I want to remind everyone that I am hoping to get back to a more regular schedule of the stream coming up here. I just started some new stuff, so obviously my schedule got thrown all out of whack, but should be getting that fixed soon. Hopefully that resolves to be like normal and we can start getting all of our streams in again. But until that point, I will make sure that I let people know through Discord and Twitter when we're going to be live. So I want to make sure that I give a shout out to our moderators that helped us out today, specifically Katrina for hanging out for most of the stream, and I want to thank our wonderful people that followed us today, as well as these wonderful individuals who resubbed to us today. Thanks, Nate, SNB, and Crimson Green. Robert Tables, I am glad you enjoyed the stream today, and thank you for raiding over on us, as that was also very nice. And yeah, once we get back into a regular swing of things, I think it's going to be good. So either way, I want to thank everyone for hanging out today. I'm going to toss us on our outro screen, but then after a few seconds, we will jump over into Carrie's stream. And make sure when you get in there, if you are one of our subscribers, that you spam some kinds of emotes or just say hi. Either way, should be a lot of fun. So take care, everyone. I will see you next time. Happy coding.